live at the Blue Grotto. Please put your hands together for Mayce Galoni!
Thank you so much. Keep it going for Manolis Santanos. Give it up for Thank you. It's very, very nice. Thank you for coming. My name is Mayce. I hope this feels like the right amount of confidence for this. It's not an amount that gets people hyped up. I'm aware of that. It's, I wish I could be one of those comics that come out like, yo, where my ladies at? But I'm more like, hey, wherever my ladies are at, you just be where you are, all right? No need to identify your location. You just enjoy the show from there, or move, or leave. It's up to you. You're not my ladies. You're your own ladies. So that's what I bring. I do love when I see someone that has way too much confidence, though. That's my favorite. I was driving here. I saw a guy wearing a shirt that said, "Don't just win, dominate," and he was waiting for the bus. So. This is a free joke. I got to drive by. That's a confident man. I love that guy. That guy was not worried about his shirt matching his mode of transportation. That's like wearing a shirt that says, "I have a totally functional penis," and driving a Cybertruck. So, good for an anti-Cybertruck crowd. That's good. You never know. I do think it's funny that we love to make fun of Cybertrucks now, though, because that must be so confusing for the people driving. For years, as liberals, we've been trying to convince them to care about the environment, and to go green, and then they switch to an electric vehicle, and we're like, idiot. That's like if we got those same people to finally start using gender-neutral pronouns, and then as soon as they did, we're like, gay. Something else I'll tell you guys about myself. I'm in love. Thank you. Yeah, these chatbots are getting good. Yeah, no, she's a real human woman. Does not sound convincing when I say it like that. I hear it. She's great, and we've been together for a while. This is true. It'll sound cheesy, but when we met, I felt that it was love at first sight. And then a little while later, I found out that what she thought about me when we first met is that she thought I was autistic. Which, she liked it. It worked for her. We started hooking up and stuff, but I will say it is weird knowing how much it worked for her. That's just in my head now. I have that. That's a fact. So now if I'm ever trying to get her in the mood and it's not working, all I can think is, well, I guess I'm not being autistic enough. I better tell her 25 facts about trains. And that's hard to narrow it down to just 25. We all have something nowadays, right? You just gotta learn to work with it. My girlfriend, she has ADHD, which, if you don't know, that stands for attention doesn't have that. And it's great. There's a lot of great things that come with that, truly. She's very creative, very passionate, has a lot of ideas and enthusiasm. But there are some challenges. One thing that can be tough is sometimes when we're talking about organizational stuff or just planning our schedules, and I could just really feel her drifting off. But what I figured out, all I have to do is I just have to talk to her in clickbait. It's a real thing I do. It's a lot of you're not gonna believe what 3 chores we really need to get done this weekend. The last one will blow your mind. It works, gets your back every time. I did a show recently, I told that joke, and a girl came up to me after and told me that she was offended by that joke because she had ADHD, and that meant something to me. I felt bad. I was like, I'm gonna start doing that joke a few minutes later in my set. You gotta wait for that drift to happen, I get it. I don't wanna hurt anybody's feelings. My girlfriend's great. It's just the two of us in the relationship. We're kind of old-fashioned that way. A lot of people doing different combos now. Some of my friends, Polly or whatever, this whole organizational hierarchies and an HR department. It's crazy. It's complex. But if that's you, that's great. I'm not judging. Even when I was single, there was a period where I was briefly dating a girl who also had a girlfriend at the time. And yeah, I feel like that's a little unusual, but it seems like none of you are surprised by that at all. I feel like the room right now is just looking at me like, yeah, that makes sense. He does look like a side chick to a lesbian. But yeah, my girlfriend, just us, and she's great. I do try to do nice things for my girlfriend. We've been together for a while. So one thing I do small, I hold the door open for her. Like if she's changing and I'm trying to sneak a peek. And no, the regular one, like buildings, cars, stuff like that. I think that's a nice little thing to do, but it's not much, but it's something. Her friend saw me doing it recently, and she said this. She goes, "You don't have to do that, she can do it herself." Like, yeah, I'm not holding the door open for her because I think she can't do it herself. I'm holding the door open for her to slowly make her believe that she can't do it herself. That's my whole plan. Don't ruin it right now. What are you gonna do next? Tell her the Wi-Fi I pay for isn't $800 a month? Don't blow up my spot here, all right? I'm trying to secure my position. My girlfriend's out of my league. She's great, and she can do better than me, and I'm sure she does it. But if she's ever walking around thinking about it, eventually she'll encounter a closed doorway and be like, but he's your arms, though. It's a move I call the phantom limb syndrome. That's what I'm trying to... But yeah, another thing I'll do is I once in a while I'll give my girlfriend a massage. Try to give her a massage. Yeah, she asks for it, and I'll do it every time. She does make it pretty clear I'm not very good at it. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if it's too many or too few karate chops, but it's clearly not romantic or something. I don't know, but I try. I try to give it a shot. You can't really expect me to just give you professional physiotherapy. Like, people go to college to learn how to give a massage. That's a skilled trade. I don't do that to her. I'm never like, oh, baby, it'd be so hot if you just quickly did some spot welding on this barbecue. And I'll just stand beside you and be like, higher and different. Her and I, we recently were, and we had a bit of an accident. And I had to go get us some Plan B for that accident. I'm being weird about this. We're all adults. You know what I'm saying. I'm even saying accident, but let's be honest. It was an accident in the same way as, when you're gonna reheat some leftover lasagna in the microwave, and you have that moment beforehand where you're like, I should cover this lasagna. But you don't, and you and the microwave decide, let's just put it in for a little bit and see what happens. And then pretty soon that lasagna has exploded inside that microwave. And full, like marinara sauce on all the walls. That's not good, right? That's not what we want. But none of us here would blame the lasagna, right? Guys, because it's just really warm in there, and without that cover, it can just really feel the microwaves. So you're just left standing there like, listen, I don't know how this happened. I only put it in for 30 seconds, all right? That's not on me. That's just a really powerful microwave. That's what that is. That's a tight door on that microwave. So yeah, so I went right away. I went to the pharmacy, and it was one of those where the Plan B wasn't on the shelf. I had to go up and ask the pharmacist. So I said, hey, could I please have some Plan B? And he goes, oh yeah, I can give you Plan B, or I can give you the no-name brand. It's like $30 cheaper, and it's basically the same thing. And I was like, no, thank you. I'm pretty sure I'm in enough trouble as is. I'm not trying to go double or nothing on this one. This is one time where brand recognition is pretty important, I think. My girlfriend's not like a label whore, but I think she'll care about this label. Can you imagine if I went home with the Plan B of Plan B? I was like, I can't, I'm sorry, sir, I can't do that. If I take that home, she'll never let me use the microwave ever again. She'll make me warm up all my food by hand. Which you'd think would take longer, but it doesn't. This is fun to be doing this in Hamilton. I'm from Hamilton, it's my hometown, and I live in America now, Los Angeles, but I come back all the time. I actually had to fly back home a couple weeks ago to help my mom sign into her iPad. I don't know if you've ever tried to help one of your parents with a computer issue over the phone. Yeah, I was like, it's gonna be quicker to just book a plane ticket, Mom. My parents are getting older, and I'm having to help them a lot more with computer stuff, and I always do it, but it's not out of the goodness of my heart. I help them because I like getting them online so that I can watch what they do once they're on there. Like, my mom is on Facebook now, and she's my favorite person on there immediately, because this is what she does. She posts a lot of statuses. They don't make any sense. And I found out it's because she thinks when she's typing into the status bar, she thinks she's commenting on whatever is at the top of her feed. So they're all just random sentences. Like, you can say that again, Diane. What? Who's Diane? What did she say? No one knows. There is one person better on the internet than her, and that's her husband, my stepdad. His name is Henry. He's 70 years old, and his forte is email. That's where he shines. I got an email from my stepdad recently, and the subject line just said, lesbians. And here's the thing, if you're ever sending someone an email that you really need them to read, that's your subject line, all right? They're gonna open that email, I guarantee it. I pulled over on the highway, like, I gotta see what this, what? Okay. I open it up, it turns out what it is. It was one of those chain emails with like a bunch of jokes about lesbians in this scenario. And, kind of, I'll admit, not the most progressive material in there. A bunch of old school street joke style jokes. Nothing hateful, but it was even supportive, but in like a horny way, And I didn't even read them all these jokes, but I did love this email because at the top of it, I could see who else he sent it to. This is the list, all right? It was me, my mom, my sister Ashley, Amy, who is Ashley's long-term live-in roommate, and then about 8 to 10 of my mom's clients and business associates. I don't even know how he got those email addresses. He doesn't work with her company. Like, all I can imagine is that he went to her company Christmas party as her guest and started collecting business cards like, oh yeah, I'll stay in touch. I got an email that's gonna knock your socks off, So I thought that was probably the best email that I was gonna get that day, but I was wrong. Because about 2 hours later, I get another email, also from Henry. This time, the subject line says, re-lesbians. I'm glad you also think that's funny already, because it's too professional, right? It's too business. Oh, circling back on the lesbians we were discussing earlier, I wanted to get these thoughts in before the end of day, And so I open this one. This one is an apology email from Henry, and this is what it said. I memorized it. Henry said, "I'm so sorry for my last email. I did not realize that there was lesbian pornography at the end of it." So I immediately scroll back to the last email. So I didn't go to the bottom before, and that time I did, and I go to the bottom, and there's just one image, one still frame. That's all they needed. It was intense. It was two ladies, you could see naked, just locked in an embrace of sorts. You know what I mean? Like full and aggressive. That was what blew my mind, is how intense it was. Any other lesbian porn that I've, stumbled across, very gentle, but this was like, it was like, the best I could describe it is like two lobster claws trying to crack each other in two, Almost as ramped, but I was looking at that for probably a while. On the shoulder of the highway with my hazards on, and then I finally go back to the new email, the second email from Henry, the apology email, because now I'm going to read every email he sends in full. I don't want to miss one pixel of these emails. And basically he said that he also didn't scroll to the bottom before he read it all. He just thought some of them were funny and sent it off. And he said, "I'm so sorry, won't happen again, Henry." But then, just out of curiosity, I scrolled to the bottom of that email. The porn is still there. He clicked include attachments. Like, he's apologizing for sending us porn, but in case we didn't see it, here it is again. That's the porn. I'm sorry for showing you. Look at it right there. You just got re-lesbianed. That's what happened. Henry's the only guy I know that's gotten in trouble with HR at somebody else's company. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, I do have sisters. I have 2 older sisters, and I like growing up with them. I think I learned a lot. One thing I learned is that I think it's a lot harder to be a teenage girl than to be a teenage boy. Right? You agree? Other people here? Yes. Yeah, right. And I think it has to be, because they were angry the whole time, like the whole time. Plus, my mom was going through menopause when they were in high school, so it was just 10 years of me walking into the living room like, whoa, there's a bad vibe in here. Everyone has heating pads. I'm like, are you guys cold? What's going on? Let's not blow any fuses. Maybe go in shifts, you know? You know what? I'm gonna get out of here. I'm just gonna get out of here. I was like 11 years old, just walking around the block at night. The neighbors are like, "Mayce, I think you should go home." I'm like, "Trust me, I'm safer out here." But yeah, my sisters were mean to me for a little while. We're close now, but there was a period where, it was tense in the household. But I honestly don't blame them. I think their life was just harder. And this is how I know. Both my sisters and my girlfriend and any other girl I've dated, at some point when they were a teenager, they told me that they got into like Ouija boards and witchcraft and the occult. That's how you know that life is harder for women. That at some point in every woman's life, at least once, she's like, I'm gonna see what the devil has to offer. So far, no good. So every woman at least once has stood over a pentagram with some sincere requests. Like, that never happened with my guy friends. That's just, we never had like a sleepover, do a quick seance with the boys, If we did, it'd be so dumb. It'd just be standing around like, "Dear Mr. Devil, please make Miss Richards have a nip slip in English tomorrow." No, dude, I don't want to hold your hand. I'm not holding hands. I could tell that my sisters' lives were more complicated even before high school, because they had Barbies growing up, and I had superhero action figures. We played with those toys very differently. Like, I would use my toys to pretend to save the world or whatever, and they would use their toys to just practice slowly isolating one woman from the friend group. With just a series of small comments that can't be traced back to them. That's... Like, I was in my room like, "Pow, take that, Dr. Octopus." And then my sister's in her room like, "Barbie, it's so interesting that Stacy laughs so much and twirls her hair whenever Ken's around." "No, I think it's great. They get along so well. Gotta go." I'm just reenacting comic books. They're conducting Stanford prison experiments in there. And I could tell that their Barbie storylines had a lot more emotional weight, because they always had some that were named after real people in their life. You know what I mean? Like, they'd be like, "Come on, Ken Kelly, hop in the speedboat. Sorry, there's no room for you, Danielle McMillan." And that's the only one played by a troll doll for no reason. It's like, I thought you and Danielle were friends, But I am glad I had sisters. We're close now. And also, my girlfriend is glad that I had sisters, I guess. She told me that apparently, like, her and a lot of her friends believe that a guy that had sisters is easier to date. You think so? Yeah. I think it's true, but I think it's true in the same way that it's probably also easier to, like, own a monkey that was rescued from the circus. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, he was abused, but he is well trained. So he listens to me. He wears the little outfits I give him. I even got him to sit on the toilet when he pees. Check that out. Look at that. He does shake a lot. He gets the shakes a lot, but that's what the cigarettes are for. So and he's a bit too comfortable digging through my purse. But yeah, I also I have a nephew. Give it up for nephews. Yeah, thank you. He's great kid. My sister had him when I was pretty young. I was 12 years old, so I was a teen uncle, and I wasn't ready for it, but I did the best I could, you know. And it was tough. It was tough because I didn't have a good example. My uncle walked out on me because he lived somewhere else. But yes, my nephew's great, and he's just getting to the end of high school right now. And he's awesome. He's like a nice, cool, chill skater kid, but he doesn't know what he wants to do with the rest of his life. And I was kind of hoping that by me being a comedian, he might be inspired to pursue his dreams. But I'm pretty sure he's now seen me too many times in a McDonald's drive-thru asking if they can split my order on 2 different credit cards. And so lately he's just like, I gotta get my degree, you know? But he doesn't know what he wants to do. And last time I was visiting back home in Hamilton, he found this like online careers test, and he took it, and then it said that he should do Reiki. And he didn't like that, so he took it again, slightly different answers, and then it said he should do acupuncture. And he was pissed. He was so mad. But I was like, no, buddy, this is nice. It's nice. It's like saying like, hey, you want to help people, but you can't. You don't have good grades, but you do have great vibes, and that counts. Some people pay to be in the room with that, you know? If you don't know, you guys know what Reiki is, right? In case you don't know, Reiki is this thing that happens when someone is so rich that they have to pay to be in a room with someone who's just wishing the best for them. But they wish so hard. They wish real good, you know? And if you don't like that joke because you do Reiki, I'll be out after the show. You can come by and just fuck up my energy or whatever it is you do. Give me a cramp in my shin, you know? But my nephew was mad at those answers. And then he's like, I'm going to take it again. And then I was like, no, buddy, I don't think it's heading in the right direction for you. It's been Reiki, acupuncture. Next is just going to tell you to give little girls braids on vacation on the beach. But when he did that, it was like a wake-up call for him. He got really motivated. He's been doing great so far lately, and he's been reading a lot. Palms. But another thing about him is he loves anime, and it seems, I don't know if there are parents in the room. Are your kids watching anime? Everyone's watching anime now. It's like the cool thing, which blows my mind. When I was in school, anime was not cool. There was one kid that watched anime. His name was Lucas. He was the same kid that had really long fingernails and knew way too much about World War II. Yeah. We all know Lucas. Yeah. And Lucas was great. He was highly medicated, and the nurse would have to come by at lunch and make sure that he took his meds, and some days he would lie about it, and we would all know because he'd get real screamy during 4th period, you know? You'd hear him down the hall and be like, oh, I guess Lucas is trying to go Super Saiyan again. But now everybody's watching. It's the cool. Now everyone's watching anime and medicated. So it turns out Lucas just ahead of his time. I hope he's proud of himself somewhere, wherever he is. Probably working for the post office, just Naruto running from house to house. I wasn't into anime, but I was into comic books, which is close, and I still love them. I still love like superhero movies, and my girlfriend makes fun of me for it. She calls it my make-believe. She's like, oh, are you watching your make-believe? It's like, yeah, sure, it is, but she likes rom-coms. That's the same. We both just like imagining we had a strong man that could protect us. So, I was behind make-believe, you know? But I do like the superhero movies, but I do think there are a lot of grown men that have too strong of feelings about them. There's a lot of, even my friends, I'll hear my friends complain about the casting of them. My friend was saying that the new Batman actor isn't muscular enough. There's a guy with a double chin going, he's just not committed to the role, you know? And it's not even their fault because they're marketing these movies to adult men. There's merchandise. I was in a men's clothing store for adult men, and they were selling Batman cologne. if you know comic books at all, you know that that's so opposite to everything Batman stands for. His whole thing is stealth. Hiding in the shadows. He can't have a signature scent. Right? Can you imagine that Batman movie where the Joker's in his hideout, like, by midnight, Gotham City will be our... Wait a second. Is that sandalwood? There you are, buddy, you know? And if it smelled, even if it smelled good, because it probably doesn't smell good, I'm gonna guess, I mean, Batman, what does it smell like? If it's authentic, just sweaty crotch and leather tights, you know? Batman has got to be one of the top 3 worst smelling billionaires, all right? And that's on a list with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And I can't prove it, but Jeff Bezos smells like pennies. So I'm sure it's not good. But anyway, even if it smelled good, no one's wearing that on a date, right? You spray it on, Batman cologne. Imagine if you were out on a date with a guy and you found out he's wearing Batman cologne. You're like, it's going well. You're like making out. And you're like, wow, you smell amazing. What is this? He's like, have you seen The Dark Knight? Yeah, baby, what you're smelling? That's vengeance. She's like, what? It's like, yeah, it's the Batman cologne. And then he tries to go to hook up with you, and you're just like, na 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 na. I recently moved in with my girlfriend. Yeah, and it was great. When we moved in together, she told me that she wanted to smudge our apartment. Which, you know what that is? Yeah. So I didn't know what that was. I had to Google it. Like, and if anybody else doesn't know, this is what it said on Google. It said, smudging is a traditional indigenous ritual where they take a bundle of sacred herbs, they light it, and then they use the smoke to cleanse some space of evil spirits and negative energy. And yeah, that sounds like a really great ritual for them, because they didn't live in bachelor apartments. So they lived in more open concept environments, traditionally, where the wind could clear that smoke, and then their asthma didn't start acting up. I told my girlfriend, if we do this, all that's gonna happen is smoke is gonna get into my pillow, I'm gonna have a nose whistle when we sleep, and in the morning, you're gonna express negative energy. So, we're gonna have to get my nephew to come in, do some Reiki. I didn't say all that. I said, yeah, of course, babe, let's do it. That's what I said. I know how to be a boyfriend. We did do it. We smudged the shit out of that place. I don't know, but it was weird. It was a weird experience, because we bought it from this, like, we went and bought the smudge stick. It was from like a new agey, like, yoga store. And the woman we bought it from was just another white woman. There wasn't like an indigenous person involved in the transaction. And I felt like there probably should have been, like, I don't know, is that off, right? I don't know if that's cultural appropriation per se, but it does feel a little weird. Me and my white girlfriend in our apartment doing this traditional indigenous ritual we don't understand. In that moment, I had a realization. I was like, I'm pretty sure we're the evil spirits they were talking about. I can feel it working. I feel it right now. I want to get out of here. I wouldn't be shocked if that's even how smudging was invented, was when white people showed up. Right? I don't know anything about history, but I would not be shocked if indigenous people didn't even have smudging for a long time. They were just chilling, enjoying their life, and then one day, out of nowhere, white people show up. Like, just the palest people they've ever seen emerge out of the woods and start ruining everything. They're like, I think we're being haunted right now. Can you imagine if you've only ever seen indigenous people in your life and then you see a British person for the first time? You're like, well, that's a fucking poltergeist for sure. Why do I see so much of his gums? I think he's decomposing. You're like, what do we do? I don't know, let's light these herbs on fire. Maybe we can smoke them out. Seems like they have weak lungs. That one has a nose whistle, so... And then that's how greedy those white people were. So they saw them doing that, smudging, and they're like, yoink, we're gonna take that too, that's ours. Our great-great-granddaughter's gonna sell this out of her yoga studio. They're all like, what's yoga? They're like, oh, don't worry, that's just something we took from the other Indians we steal from. I am white, have been for a while, and I'm actually technically a POC, plain old Caucasian. And I'm very white. I'm full. This is a fact. I love rap music. It's my favorite music. I listen to it, but I don't understand any of it. All the references, they go right over my head. Except once in a while, I will hear a new rap song on the radio. And I'm like, wow, I understand all of this. And then I Shazam it, and I'm like, fuck, Macklemore again. Gets me every time. Except for once, it was an insurance commercial. But I think it's crazy that there are white people that think that being white makes them better. Isn't that crazy? White skin is the weakest skin you can have. I've gotten a sunburn from eating lunch indoors too close to a window. So where am I superior? Underground? Is that where? In the summer, I have to avoid the sky. The whole sky, just the whole thing. Like I went to a cottage last summer with my girlfriend's family, and the first day we were there, they wanted to go boating. That's what they call it. What they do is they park the boat in the middle of the lake and drink 42 beers. You guys know boating, right? Yeah. And so they want to do this. I realized I forgot to bring sunblock. But it's a cottage. I asked if anybody else had some, and her uncle hands me SPF 15. And I was like, great, thanks. That'll be really useful to me at dusk. So, do we have any daytime sunblock we could crack into? And they didn't. That's all there was, 15. And I knew that wasn't gonna work. I was gonna get scorched, and we were gonna ruin the weekend. So I didn't want to go, but I was embarrassed, and so I just said I had a headache and had to go lay down, and I did, and then they went boating without me for a few hours. And man, that is, I don't know. Do you know how embarrassing it is to be too white to do white activities? Can't go boating because I don't have sunscreen. That's like not being able to take a picture of my brunch because my iPhone is too full of Michael Bublé albums. Can't delete them. I love the boobs. So I had a pretty sheltered life growing up. This is how I learned about racism in general. I was 10 years old, so already pretty late in the game. And I was watching TV, and there was a PSA that came on, this commercial, and it had a black gentleman that at some point in the commercial, he goes, "End racism now." And I had never heard the word before. So I asked my mom, I was like, what is racism? And she goes, it's when someone is mean to someone else because of the color of their skin. And then, as a 10-year-old trying to wrap my head around this new concept, I related it to a movie I had seen recently, and I asked her, so is it like what happened to Eminem in 8 Mile? And then my mom said yes. So for a little while, I had a pretty incorrect idea about what racism is and who it primarily affects. Like, for a couple weeks there, I thought racism was mostly a force that stopped young white men from getting their foot in the door to the battle rap community. My heart was in the right place. My info was so wrong. The next day, I saw that commercial on TV, and the guy's like, "End racism now," and I was like, I think it's on you, actually. This is your time to make some space in the cipher and start amplifying some Caucasian verses. We shouldn't have just one shot, one opportunity. I do. Yeah, we covered white privilege, got that, but I actually kind of have all of them. Straight, man, I got the full collection, first edition, and it's embarrassing at this point because they're really stacking up and I'm not doing anything with them. I'm very, very mediocre. I'm sure I'm going to learn about another one soon. I don't know what it'll be, but I want to be careful because I want to be an ally, but I'm being careful. I'm out in the world. I'm at like Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm like, yeah, could I please get the boneless chicken wings? I'm sorry, the wings experiencing bonelessness. Cisgender, that was the most recent one that I learned that I am cisgender, which if you don't know what that means that I just came, factory settings, sort of. I don't know I'm not going to describe it the best way. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like my brain and my body matched when it came out, My brain feels like a man and my body looks like a man from the right angle. And that's lucky. Scientifically, it doesn't always have to work out that way. And so we're lucky that we get to have that if you are, and I'm even luckier than that because I got the brain of the exact type of man that should have this body. I know that because recently I cried so much while watching a YouTube video of a successful rocket launch. It wasn't even a manned flight. There were no lives at risk. I was just moved by the technological accomplishment. It was pre-recorded. I knew it worked out. I wasn't watching live. And the worst part, that wasn't even my nerdiest cry. Because a little while before that, I cried so hard while watching an episode of CW's The Flash that my breathe right strip popped off. I just saw it there. It's like, that's my last one. I gotta breathe wrong after this. I do think it's crazy that a lot of the discussions now is about like transgender people using whatever bathroom they want, and some people get so mad about it. That blows my mind that people are angry about them just kind of using a bathroom to piss and shit where they feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Why is that a problem? We all do that. We all pick the one we prefer. When I go to the bathroom, I self-identify as a handicapped person so that I can use the comfy stall, the big open. It's like the presidential suite of the bathroom. And when I'm in there, nobody gives me a hassle. No one gets mad at me, protest. Even if I'm sitting in there and I see like a wheelchair roll up, I just lift one leg. That's the trick. But some people get so mad about the bathroom stuff. There's always, whenever it's coming up again now in the news, these laws, and there's always a Republican that'll come on TV, and they say they're defending women. That's what they say. They go, well, if we make it a law that transgender people can just pick for themselves, what's to stop a straight man from going in there, sneaking in there, and harassing or assaulting women? It's like, yeah, that would be horrible, for sure, but if a guy's gonna do that, he's probably not waiting for a law to pass. Like if a guy is deranged, if your idea of a romantic afternoon is molesting a chick on the toilet at Arby's, you're probably not watching C-SPAN to figure out when to make your move. You're probably just gonna do it, right? And that's horrible. But the solution, we shouldn't jam up transgender people's lives. That's straight male predators. We should punish them more harshly. If someone's caught trying to rape someone, that should be like the harshest punishment. If someone's caught trying to do that, we should make them like an automatic organ donor. And the organ they should have to donate immediately is their penis to a transgendered guy that needs one. Like some kind of adopt-a-dick program. And the slogan can just be, give your dick to someone that wants it for once. All right, that was a bit of a minefield, that one, but we got through it. I did say that I moved to the States recently, and that was a weird transition, moving to the States. Culturally, it was quite a shift. This is true. The first week that I moved to America, someone left an anti-abortion pamphlet on the windshield of my car. I guess they saw my beat-up baby blue Toyota Yaris and thought, this guy fucks. Maybe that's the name of the special. This guy fucks? All right, I don't know. It's an option. But I read it. I read the whole thing. I was curious. I wanted to learn about this new culture I was joining. And so I read it. It was very weird to me how they tried to convince us as the reader that abortion is wrong. The first page, it talked about this idea called infant damnation, which is also my favorite metal band. And basically what they were saying is that abortion is wrong because when you have an abortion, God sends the baby to hell. Which, that's so intense, right? And also I feel like that doesn't convince me that abortion is wrong. I feel like that just proves that God doesn't want to hang out with this kid either. And did I get the math wrong anywhere there? I'm not, you're religious. I'm saying he's God. He would know if this is going to become a little prick or not. So if that's where he thinks you should go, send him right there, That's God's will. I'm not going to get in the way of that. As far as I can tell, that woman, she's doing God's work, right? She had a sinner inside of her, and then she sent it to hell. That's an exorcism back in Canada. I did tell that joke recently, and a guy came up to me after the show, and he was pretty polite, but he did say, he's like, just so you know, I'm religious, and we don't believe the baby goes to hell. We believe the baby's spirit goes to heaven. And I was like, oh, so you would love abortion even more. Right? When that's where you're all trying to be, is heaven. That's the whole point. If you could send your baby right there, express pass, that would be the humane thing to do. Of course, boom, right? If that's the case, that an abortion is like giving your baby the golden buzzer on America's Got Talent. Right? And that's how it should happen. Just, one big button, and then gold confetti, and Paula Abdul's crying in the corner. I did, when I was talking to that guy, I said some of that, not quite put that way, but he was like, oh yeah, you know what, you're right, you changed my mind. He did not say that. In fact, that conversation with that guy never actually happened. I made up that story to prove a point. Kind of like the Bible. And, because there's some good lessons in it, is what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. I should say that I am an atheist, which, if you don't know what that means that I don't believe in getting along with my grandparents. And I just didn't grow up with any religion. The closest I had, my best friend, his family was really religious, and I'd hang out with them all the time, so I'd see some of the way they lived, and it always seemed like they had some weird rules. Like, I remember they wouldn't let him play any video games that had violence in it, because they said they didn't want him to be exposed to that. But then they would force him to read the Bible. As if nobody gets killed in that, right? There's murder, there's prostitutes. It's basically Grand Theft Auto Bethlehem. That's the whole thing. Like, if you made a video game out of the Bible, it'd be the most violent one. Like, what do you gotta do on this level? I gotta circumcise the neighborhood. I wish I didn't get this on my Oculus. All right, let's... Yeah, and I would go to church with them sometimes too, because I'd sleep over on the Saturday, and then that's what they do on Sunday, so I'd go. And that always seemed like a weird experience. Coming from the outside, church is a little strange, because they get you hyped up. They're like, oh, we're going to God's house on earth. I was like, what's nice, this is going to be a sick crib. It isn't. It's a little stuffy, to be honest. It doesn't seem like God was expecting company when you showed up. The only place he has for you to sit are just these hard wooden benches. And then most of the time he makes you stand up anyways to sing songs about how much you love him. Right before he asks if he can borrow money. That's how you're like, it's a weird party. God, this is a weird party. Did you at least have any snacks? He's like, just these crackers. You're like, oh, okay, what flavor are these? My son's body. This guy's a weird dude. And then they tell you the stories, and then it kind of seems like, to be honest, that the devil is more of a chill guy to hang out with for eternity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's accurate, but the way they put it, the first story they tell you is Adam and Eve. They say Adam and Eve were in a garden, God put them in a garden, and he told them to name all the animals, and then he leaves. Then the devil comes by, and he tells them that they can eat this apple that lets them see each other naked. So he's been around for 2 minutes, and already he's given us snacks and nudity. It's a pretty good track record so far. You'd go to that guy's party, for sure. But then he leaves, and then God comes back, and he sees that they ate this apple, and then he loses his mind. He gets so mad. He's like, Eve, you will now experience incredible pain during childbirth, and so will every woman until the end of time. And Adam, I'm mad at you too. Oh yeah, you heard me. Well, not mad, but disappointed, all right, young man? How can I stay mad at you, little buddy? Come here. The devil, I'm just saying, I think is a better feminist ally. Even filled hell with fire, because women are always cold, so. But I don't want to make fun of anybody's beliefs, except for all those ones I did and this one more that I'm about to. And then that's it. that'll be the end of it. Because I do think it's weird when religious people are also homophobic. That's a weird crossover, right? When you see like a Christian that's like, homosexuality is unnatural. It's like, first of all, I don't think it is. But you know what is unnatural? Resurrection. That's a bit wacky, right, guys? If you think on paper, that's a little off the wall. Walking on water, multiplying fishes. Jesus did all of that. Are you telling me that if there was a chapter in the Bible where Jesus kissed another man on the mouth, you'd be like, whoa, this book just got crazy. I don't think it'd be a surprise if Jesus was gay. Okay. I'm just saying, he was a clean, kind, gentle man with a hairless chest and an impeccable physique. Have you ever seen a straight guy with obliques like Jesus? I don't feel like I have everybody on board for gay Jesus. Bit of a weird way to finish off. Let me pitch it one more time, all right? He spent all day drinking red wine with prostitutes he wasn't having sex with. So maybe I appreciate that. I know not everybody's on board. That's okay. Millions of people have eaten his flesh. Nobody ate his dick. Sure. And I know people don't like it when you change the sexuality of their favorite fictional character. Lately, with all the reboots and stuff, it's been coming up. People are getting mad about stuff. I'm a big comic book fan. And last year, I don't know if you heard this, DC Comics announced that Superman is bisexual. Yeah, and some people got so mad about it. I saw one guy on Instagram, he commented in all capital letters, "You're ruining everything." Isn't that a weird stance to take on that? Like, what? Superman's gay? How can I enjoy my magazines of buff boys in tight underwear now? It's ruined. That's crazy. I think it's great. I think it's great that Superman is bisexual. I think we should all have a shot with Superman. Yeah, and I don't want to misrepresent myself. I want to be clear. I do happen to be 100% straight when my feet are on solid ground. But say I have fallen off of a building and I'm about to hit the pavement. And then right before I do, Superman swoops in and catches me in his safe, strong, muscular arms. With my legs just dangling over the side right there. I might try to fuck Superman. Do any of us know what we would do? No, we don't know in that situation. I do know I would make a lot of eye contact, that's for sure. I'd keep that door open while putting on chapstick, just a lot of... He's like, is that Batman cologne? But I don't think he'd do anything. I don't think he'd kiss. I think he'd set me down. He's a professional. He'd set me down, he'd go on his way. But I'd write him letters. I'd write him letters every day and tell him how much that meant to me. And then maybe it made me feel something that I didn't expect and had never felt before. And, maybe, just maybe, if he felt something too, maybe we'd meet up, chat about it. He could find me. That vision, the hearing, he could find me. We'd meet up, we'd talk. And if he felt something, we'd explore the feeling. That's all. Maybe a kiss. That's all I'm talking about. Just a kiss. Don't get weird on me, God. Maybe I would kiss Superman. Is that so wrong that I kiss? But that's it. We're not gonna. Maybe we see where it goes. We keep it casual. I don't know. I'm just saying. He's busy. He's a career man. So I'm not gonna. But then maybe things are good in the world. We have time to slow down. Maybe we move out to the country, start that bed and breakfast we've been talking about, and and he'd still do. It would be great, but I think that's it. That's all. I don't think we'd file those adoption papers we filled out. But if we did, man, we would try to give that kid the best life they could ever have. We'd put our heart and soul into that because And it's like, and I think he'd be a great dad. And I just, and I'm not saying he'd be perfect. He's not flawless, especially when they become a teenager. Oh man, they're teenagers, they can say the meanest things, and he's bulletproof, but he's not tears proof. And maybe there'd be a hard day. They have a fight, and I don't get in the middle of it. That's those are both my boys. I don't, but I'd pay attention, and if he, if I saw him later, they have a big fight, and Clark, he's sitting out there on the stoop, and I'd go up. Well, I wouldn't say anything. I don't want to get in the middle, but what I would do, this is what I do. He's sitting there, and he's just, sitting on the stoop, and his little curl blowing in the wind there. That's my kryptonite, and what I do, this is all I do. I just go up behind him, wouldn't say anything. I just go up behind. I'd put my arms around him, and I just try to make him feel as safe as he made me feel that day. But other than that, I'm totally fucking straight. So, thank you so much, everybody. You guys are the best. Thank you. Good night. Goodbye.
You ready for your next guy? Yeah. Put your hands together for Mayce